I know I'm not the only one that around the holidays has a family that has a list of Christmas movies you have to watch every year. Christmas Vacation, Scrooged, Elf. Without them, my Christmas just isn't the same. But what about those great holiday movies that actually have nothing to do with Christmas? When I gave thought to this, I discovered that there's so many of them that this will be the very first Real School Top 10. So let's take a look at the top 10 Christmas movies that aren't actually about Christmas on this, the Real School Countdown. Number 10, Lethal Weapon. This may not have been the pioneer of buddy cop movies, but it was certainly one that showed that that format was not a fluke. The grizzly veteran, the hotshot rookie, the one-liners, and a villain played by Gary Busey. This film's got all the staples. There's also something to be said about a Christmas movie in LA, and you'll notice it's not the only one on this list. It reminds me of the holidays, what with all the fighting, and every year my dad says he's getting too old for this. Number 9, Batman Returns. This one topped another countdown, but it has to be on this list because Burton and Christmas are practically synonymous. The bright nature of the holidays with the macabre and dark nature of Batman and Burton just fit together so well to create a great balance. Just tell me that a snow scene at night is not the most beautiful thing you can put on film. The black and white of Batman and Gotham City and the colors of the holiday season really came together and made this one of Burton's most visually stunning films. Which is strange because not only has Burton covered Christmas, like, a lot, but this movie came out in June. Number 8, Die Hard. You want to know why we need Die Hard? Because it was the feature film debut of one Alan Rickman. Shoot the glass. If Lethal Weapon helped create the subgenre of buddy cop movies, then it is safe to say that Die Hard helped create the invincible tough guy cop genre. I know what you're thinking though, another LA cop story at Christmas? Even though McClane's from New York. John McClane has always been the shoot 'em first, ask questions later, trash-talking all-American hero. So when a group of Germans threaten not only his wife, but Christmas, you know he's gonna take care of business. Which is why it's no coincidence that the sequel takes place at Christmas as well. Number 7, Trading Places. Nothing says Christmas like grifters, prostitutes, and racist old rich guys. Again, just my family? This is one of those rare, great casts that on paper looks like an eclectic mix that won't work. But John Landis, who had already at the time created many great comedic films, brought together SNL alum Dan Aykroyd, Scream Queen Jamie Lee Curtis, and some kid who had only really made one movie before this named Eddie, and made an amazing team. The great thing about this movie, aside from the Frank Oz cameo, is why Christmas is the perfect setting for this film. It's really just a version of A Christmas Carol. Two old misers who are nothing but greedy and self-centered need to be taught a lesson at Christmas. Number 6, Go. Before Jumper in 2008, I was under the impression that Doug Liman could do no wrong, as he had not directed a single bad movie. But in the prime of my youth, this man brought me my personal Bible in Swingers, and then followed it up with the hilarious and energetic Go. And that film stood out as one of the most memorable in 1999, what many people call the year of the film. Part of that is the elaborate interweaving multiple storylines, and of course you have to give credit to an unprecedented ensemble cast. The other part is Lyman, with his background in cinematography and editing, was the perfect director to really bring this complex story together. And if you'll notice, another LA Christmas story. Number 5, Gremlins. No California Christmas here, finally. Some snow. My only question is, why did people in the 80s want to make all these dark Christmas movies? Why did they hate Christmas? Reaganomics? Well, nothing gets the yuppie economy going like stuffed animals and action figures coming to life and taking over Christmas. And if there's one thing that the 80s were known for, other than hating Christmas, it was the invention of the horror comedy. And horror and Christmas and comedy just seem to go together. If it weren't for the tongue-in-cheek nature of this film, it could be seen as a B film that takes itself too seriously. But instead, it's seen as a classic. One of my favorite parts is when the beautiful Phoebe Cates tells the story about why she hates Christmas. It's the kind of adult dark humor that I really like, and they even poke fun at it in Gremlins 2 when Cates tells the story about the President's Day disaster. Number 4, Rent. It's ironic that so many films on this list are dark movies where the characters have to suffer incredible hardships. But this beautiful and inspiring story is all about human connection, and it shows us that even in the darkest times, you can count on loved ones. So the fact that most of this film takes place during the holidays just reinforces that. Not only is this a great adaptation that features the original Broadway cast, but it's the only musical to make the list. Usually Christmas musicals are just about that, Christmas, but Rent shows that the morality of the human condition and love doesn't have to be plastered with the glitz and glamour that Christmas brings. Number 3, In Bruges. We've already had our only musical on the list, so why not follow it up with the only foreign film on the list? Whenever I've had the opportunity to discuss this great filmmaker, I have praised the work of Martin McDonagh for his originality and character-driven stories. Plus, he celebrates Irish characters and actors like Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. If you've never seen any of his films, well, be prepared for eclectic characters, fast-paced dialogue, and yes, black humor. You know what I asked Santa for Christmas? More movies like this. Number 2, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. From one amazing writer-director in McDonagh to another writer-director that made his directorial debut with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And then he made Iron Man 3, which is another California Christmas movie. Although that one was more like a lump of coal. Or a lump of something. Remember that this is the second black-written film that has made the list because Lethal Weapon kicked us off. But if Christmas is one of Shane Black's trademarks, then the other has to be the crime-fighting buddy dynamic. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is infinitely better though, as the partnership of Kilmer and Downey Jr. is near perfect, and the dialogue is so snappy and intelligent. And the fact that it takes place during Christmas just makes this neo-noir mystery that much more charming. So even though there are so many LA Christmas movies, is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang the greatest LA Christmas movie? Not quite. Number 1, LA Confidential. LA Confidential has it all. Action, really well-written dialogue, a compelling and intriguing mystery, all wrapped up in the glamour of 50s Hollywood. One of the best aspects of the cast is the fact that it mixes veteran actors with up-and-comers. On one side, you've got Kevin Spacey, who had already at the time won one of his Oscars. Then you have James Cromwell, Danny DeVito, David Strathairn, all amazing character actors, and of course, 80s siren Kim Basinger. On the other side, you've got Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe, who really got their American start in this film. And it's the big screen debut of Simon Baker, who would later become The Mentalist. The beauty of Christmas, the style of the 50s, beautiful women, tough guy cops. Curtis Hanson outdid himself with this flick. Agree or disagree with the list? Leave your picks for top Christmas movies, whether or not it actually has to do with Christmas, in the comments section below. But until next time, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and school's out.